everyone. Welcome to Storyvine. This is Charlotte Mecklenburg's annual celebration of storytelling, and I'm so glad to be here. My name is Viviette White, and I'm one of the librarians with the Allegra Westbrooks Regional Library. I'm so glad to see you today. Celebrating Storyvine is our way to kick off with our summer break program. And if you've ever participated in any type of summer break programs, you know it's a lot of fun. This year, our summer break Read, Learn, Explore program is with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library running from June 1st through August 13th. And you can participate by logging your reading and activities on our summer break Charlotte Mecklenburg Library, cmlibrary.org website to earn fun prizes, which is awesome. I know everyone loves getting a prize. Well, this is an exciting time for us at the library. I'm so excited that summer break is on its way. But right now we're in Storyvine, in the Storyvine realm. And today I'm going to share with you a story from Africa. It is called Pretty Salma by Nikki Daly. And I'm going to show you the book because I will be telling the story, but I wanted you to see the book. In case you come by the library, you can pick up this book as well as many others. But I love this story. It's a Red Riding Hood story. Have you all heard the story of Red Riding Hood? Well, in some cultures, Red Riding Hood takes on various roles. She might look differently than what you thought she looked like. But this Pretty Salma is our Red Riding Hood of West Africa, and specifically Ghana. So Pretty Salma, she lived with her granny and grandfather in a small village. And one day, Granny asked Selma, Pretty Selma, please go to the market for your old granny who loves you so. So Selma put on her blue scarf and her stripy intama, which is a wraparound skirt, and she put on these beautiful white pretty beads and her yellow sandals. Well, she tucked Granny's shopping list into her head wrap, and then she went and put on a big basket on her head so she can carry the items. She kissed her granny goodbye, and her granny said, straight there and back again, and don't talk to strangers. You hear? Okay, I promised. And then Pretty Salma went down the road, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, in her little yellow sandals, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. And as she sang her favorite song, and it goes like this. Oh, Salma, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. At the market, she bought a giant watermelon. She put that on top of her head in the basket. And then she bought a speckled rooster, and she brought ice cold pink drink and a bunch of candy striped straws. Sounds delicious. The sun was growing very hot, and the basket, it was very heavy. So Salma decided to take a shortcut through the wild side of town. Along the way, she sang her song. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Well, are you Pretty Salma? Asked the stranger. It was Mr. Dog. He had been listening to her singing. Yes, said Salma. Are you going to Granny? Asked Mr. Dog. Yes, said Salma. Well, your basket, it looks too heavy for you. Such a pretty little head, said Mr. Dog. Oh, allow me to carry it for you. Salma did fit She felt a bit dizzy from all the heat, so she agreed to let Mr. Dog carry her basket. After a while, Mr. Dog asked, "Oh, what are you wearing on your feet?" "Sandals," replied pretty Salma. "Oh, they must be making your feet feel pretty hot." He said, "Why don't I wear them for you?" So they stopped, and Mr. Dog, he slipped his big feet into Salma's pretty little sandals. On the way, he went flappity flip, flippity flop. And after a while, Mr. Dog said, "What's that wrap around you're wearing?" "Mine, Tama," replied Salma. "I bet you feel cooler without it. I'd be happy to wear it for you." Oh, no sooner had Mr. Dog wrapped Salma's and Tama around himself, he asked her for her scarf and her pretty beads. "How do I look?" asked Mr. Dog, striking a pose. Well, Mr. Dog strutted along the road, and Salma began to miss her things. But when she asked for them back, Mr. Dog only said, "Some music will help." "Oh, won't you teach me that song?" So Salma tried to teach Mr. Dog her favorite song. Let's sing it again together. "Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so." But Mr. Dog was, he was hopeless in singing. He couldn't sing. All he could do was go, "Woo, woo, 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 woo." "I need a lot more practice," said Mr. Dog. "And until I learn to sing, you won't get your things back." Oh, Salma begged, "Oh, Mr. Dog, please, please, please give me my things." And Mr. Dog growled, "You shush. You will never, ever get your things back. Now run away, little girl, before I bite you in two." Poor Salma. She got in such a fright when she saw his very sharp teeth. And she ran and ran and ran until she found her grandfather. Her grandfather was dressed up in an Anansi costume, telling stories. When grandfather heard Salma's story, he said, "That's a very exciting story, Salma, but it doesn't sound like a happy ending. How can we save Granny?" "Oh, I know," said Salma. "We'll scare Mr. Dog. Exactly how we will scare Mr. Dog. Let's see. How will we do that?" asked her grandfather. "Like this," said Salma, putting the mask for the Kakamatobi, which is the boogeyman. Salma picked up Anansi's atampan, which is a big drum, and she started beating it loudly. Boom, 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 boom. And grandfather, he picked up his rattles and gave them a fierce shake. Little Abu Bakr, who loved a good scare, he joined in with clapping sticks. Can you clap? Kataka, 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 kataka. So Salma said, "Let's go." And on they went. When Granny saw Mr. Dog flip-flopping up the path, she thought it was her pretty Salma. "Oh, Salma, my pretty Salma, come give your Granny who loves you so a kiss," cried Granny. Oh, Mr. Dog leapt up and gave a sloppy kiss. "Oh, my Salma," said Granny, "what a wet nose you have." Granny took the heavy basket from Mr. Dog and said, "Salma, pretty Salma, you look hungry. Let's eat." Mr. Dog started to chase the speckled rooster round and round. "Oh, my Salma," said Granny, What an appetite you have. Then Granny said, Salma, pretty Salma, it's time for your bath. Into the bath leapt Mr. Dog. Oh, my Salma, said Granny, what hairy ears you have. Oh, are you my pretty Salma? Oh, yes, 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 cried Mr. Dog, jumping onto Granny's lap and wagging his tail. Now Granny was really worried. Did pretty Salma have a tail? Perhaps this wasn't her pretty Salma. Well, there was only one way to find out. Let's sing our favorite song, said Granny, and she started singing. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Oh, Salma, pretty Salma, come kiss your granny, your darling old granny who loves you so. Woo, 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 barked Mr. Dog. Then Granny knew she had been tricked. She reached for her broom. Out, out, get out! Oh, but Mr. Dog liked being pretty Salma for far too much to leave Granny's house. So what he did, he growled and chased her and snapped at her. Granny was afraid Mr. Dog would bite her in two. So she jumped into her cooking pot. Mr. Dog pushed the lid down. Nice, he thought. Granny's soup. Granny cried, help, help, help. And just then, the door burst open. And with a loud kaboom, kaboom, shuka, 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 kataka, 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 kataka. When Mr. Dog saw the Kaka Matobi, the boogeyman, and his gang, he got a terrible fright. That bad dog slipped and tripped over his miserable tail right out the house, back to the wild side of town. Salma took off her mask and helped Granny climb out of the tub. Then they all sat down to eat watermelon and sip an ice-cold pink drink through candy-striped straws. The next day, Granny sent Salma to the market to buy new clothes. Salma went straight there and back, and she never talked to a stranger again. That was such an interesting tale, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, the adventures that poor little Salma had to go through to get to her granny's house. A lot of time we go through a lot of adventures in life, but we finally get to where we want to be. A great place. And that place today is Storyvine. I hope you enjoyed the stories today, and we will see you very shortly with some more great stories from our storytellers. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you soon at the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library.